Hey, good evening. Guess what? Crying Amy Klobuchar is on Fox 9 News. And I gotta listen, right? So I listened and I said, man, I can't wait to go home and to respond. And so here I am at home, ready to respond. So it's been a while since I've heard the video, so I'll pause and respond almost, as we go along, So tonight, I'm drinking more coffee. Caramel latte with chocolate. Oh my gosh, that hits the spot every time. Warms my heart, indeed. All right, here we go. Ooh, that's great coffee.
Is for you heading back to DC.
See,
tomorrow.
She's about to cry.
There have been a growing.
I think she did cry prior to the interview. We need a box of tissues, people. A box of tissue next to her at all times.
Calls from the GOP side of the aisle now in Congress. Some GOP governors about a fair, transparent, thorough investigation. What do you see happening here?
I think there's a sea change going on, and what we knew was happening in Minnesota, whether you're Democrat or Republican, that this was getting out of hand. We have 3,000 ICE agents and only 1,100 sworn officers in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Our 10 metro police departments.
Whose fault is that? I say the Democrats, because for the past 8 years, we've been, defund police, defund police, defund police, no more police, defund police. And slowly but surely, our officers have been dwindling to where we hardly have any officers. Whose fault is that? Seriously. Don't forget, we were shouting and protesting to defund the ICE. Do not forget that. Defund the police. Do not forget that, okay? That's why.
More ICE agents here. And
in fact, 28 police officers quit and went to join ICE. Now we have 25 few and more ICE agents. Whose fault is that? Seriously.
And out of balance, resulting in horrific shootings, of course. 2 out of the 3 killings in Minnesota have been at the hands of in Minneapolis have been at the hands of federal agents. And so that's where we are. And what has happened with I would say the videos of the shooting of Alex Preddy, and people seeing at first it's confusing, but then when you see the enlargement of the videos with the fact that he was a lawful gun owner and that gun.
The video shows nothing about him being a lawful owner. She's creating an image at the moment, right? We understand he's lawful owner and all that stuff, but we cannot jump to conclusions just yet. It's still under investigation, and more information is coming out by the day, like by the hour, literally. I'm learning information that I'm not gonna speak about because I don't know if it's actually true or not. There's information that makes me question why he was there in the first place. But like I said, I leave it for the investigators to make that determination, right? So we cannot jump to conclusions just yet on exactly what happened, how it happened, why it happened. These are all the questions that we need to ask as citizens of Minnesota. Just because we see a couple of videos does not mean we know the full story. That's just a picture, right? A small picture of a larger picture, like small piece of a puzzle. So
it was in the holster and it was removed by federal agents, and then he was shot in the back. Those things are very chilling for the people of this country. So the pushback yesterday was intense. Finally, we had some Republican senators, House members, gun owners, the NRA, some local legislators saying enough. We need a transparent investigation, but a number of them saying this is not okay. Police chiefs in Minnesota and across the country. And I think that has gotten to a pitched level.
Honestly, I don't know if she's just pulling some information out without really. I think some of the stuff she's saying she's making it up. I've not really heard any of the people saying enough is enough. We need transparency. Yes, we definitely need transparency. But what we need is more pieces of the puzzle to get a larger picture exactly what happened, how it happened, what led to that incident. We need a lot of information that we're still missing. And more information is coming by the hour. So we cannot keep saying what our thoughts are. We can, say, here's some evidence, but we cannot make the determination until the investigation is complete.
So what we've been seeing for weeks has finally made it in a big way into the White House.
Had you been hearing any of that GOP concern prior to Saturday? Had it been starting to bubble up?
I had some discussions with Republican senators, so some of it was out there. But honestly,
see, Amy's about to cry.
Yesterday was the breaking point. And that has led, of course, to the president having a discussion with Governor Walz. And
who caved? Was it Trump or was it Walz? There's serious information that's coming out that's been on Fox. Let me pull it up here quick just to make sure I say it properly. I'm not seeing it. There is a chat room that's been going on that exposes the Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, I think her name was, and that's not good for Walz. There's a lot of higher ups that are involved in that group chat that have been talking about tracking ICE agents, and stuff like that. So I'm not going to say too much more about that, but I have a lot of questions and not enough answers. That's why I don't want to assume things. I still believe we don't have all the pieces to this story, right? Because we're trying to write a story, beginning, middle, and end. We don't have the beginning part. We only have the end, right? We have so much more that we need to fill in. That's why I strongly recommend people, yes, read the story, but, gather the information, gather the facts, but do not make a final conclusion until we get all the pieces, right?
Not doing a mean tweet coming out of it. And I actually have been talking to various people in the administration for weeks, as have a number of people, our police chiefs, the business community, obviously Chief O'Hara, and really pleading with them to say, stop this. And basically 3,000 ICE agents, get them out of here. They're not making us safe. They're making us less safe. Fraud investigation.
Then who the bleep is going to be going around policing all these criminals? Who? You already told me we have 1,100 police officers, right? Between Minneapolis and St. Paul, right? There's that rotate on shifts, right? And so when will they have time to go after the really bad criminals? When they have to deal with their own citizens, legal citizens, right? They cannot do two jobs at the same time. It doesn't make sense. And in fact, she's saying, get them out. That's her stance on ICE, okay? If Crying Amy runs for governor, her stance is get the ICE out. My stance is keep them. Keep them in Minnesota and have them continue doing the good work that they do. That's the difference between her and I, between Crying Amy and me, Ross Nova. And I'll show you some information here shortly, but who else will do the work if not the ICE agents, the Border Patrol agents? Who?
Please help with that. Apprehending violent offenders, yes, that is a worthy purpose for everyone, but that's not what this has turned into. So I'm hoping that this de-escalation will continue. We need them out of our towns. It's not just Minneapolis, St. Paul, suburbs.
She is about to cry. And as a Fox News, I'm disappointed. Ask the hard questions. Make her think. If I'm being interviewed by Fox or by CNN, by whoever, I want them to stump me in a way, to make me think. Because I might have to retract certain stuff. It's like, oh, you bring a very good point. Let me circle back on that and see if I can come up with a better plan. This is not cool, right? I'm going to read here. Why not? Let's just break down some information on why I support the men and women in Border Patrol and why I support the ICE agents as well. I think they are heroes. They go and put their lives at risk so that you as a citizen and me as a citizen can go to bed at night knowing there's people out there patrolling the nights, getting all the monsters out of our state. Yes, monsters, illegals that have serious criminal records. FBI Director Patel regarding 2025, right? Figures are reported historic result for the year. Claims based on reports from late 2025 and 2026, right? I'm just kind of summarizing here. Top 10 most wanted. 6 of the top 10 most wanted criminals were captured roughly within a year. During Biden time, they captured 4 within 4 years. So capture 6 within a year, big difference because they're actually going in. No one's stopping them. No one's slowing them down. There's no walls built between the criminals and the FBI, the ICE agents and Border Patrols. There's no walls. They got the full range. They got everything, all the tools they need. They're in and they're cleaning up, right? Total arrest. Some statements citing over 50 to 67,000 arrests in 2025, marking up 200% increase from the previous year. 50 to 67,000 of illegals were arrested. And these are the violent offenders. Of those, violent offenders were over 30,000 of violent criminals arrested. That's literally pretty much half the police force in Minneapolis. 30,000 violent criminals were arrested. And I looked up what is violent crime definition according to the FBI. Murderers, neglect, manslaughter, forcible rape, robbery, aggravated assault. These people, over 30,000, are gone. I sleep so much better at night knowing that those brave men and women, Border Patrol and ICE agents are out there picking these guys up. Fentanyl seizure. Over 200 kilograms of fentanyl was seized. That's 31% increase. That can kill over 130 to 150 millions of Americans. That's a lot of drugs. Espionage arrest. 35 to 40% increase in the arrests in foreign espionage actors from countries including China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. North Korea, how the hell? Excuse my language, but wow. 35 to 40, and there may be some in Canada, and there may be some internally that want to cause harm in Minnesota. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm going to let the investigation do its thing, right? You'll read all about it. But I think there may be, U.S. citizens that might fall underneath the espionage arrests. So that will definitely increase. Children rescued. Thank God. 6,000 child victims were located, representing 22% increase. Children. 6,000 children were located within the past year. Think about this. It could be anybody's child that was saved thanks to the Border Patrol agents and the ICE agents. They are the heroes, the true heroes of the United States. I hope someday that they get the recognition that they truly deserve. All of them are wearing masks right now. We may never put a face on those brave men and women that sacrificed their time away from home, from their families, from their children, so they can go out there and rescue other children. I get very emotional when it comes to kids. Kids are our future. They are our pride and joy. So next time you frickin' protesters, because this is not protesting, it's not peaceful anymore. You protesters, you stop a Border Patrol agent or ICE agent on his or her way to a house that has a child that's a victim that needs saving, and you stop them? Yeah. I hope you get arrested and thrown in jail for interfering. 6,000 child victims. That's 22% increase from Biden administration that did nothing. Gang dismantled. Approximately 1,800 gangs and criminals of enterprises were disrupted, dismantled, which was reported as 210% increase. Like, people, protesters, are you not seeing and hearing these numbers? There won't be random shootings or kidnappings or drugs. Your neighbors will not have to worry about drugs. Everybody's going to be safe. Gangs are off the streets. Gangs are violent and dangerous. They don't care for human life. We want them gone. And crying Amy Klobuchar wants those brave men and women and ICE agents and Border Patrol agents gone. She wants this. She wants all these criminals. She doesn't care about kids. She does not care. And that's what pisses me off. I thank you, border agents. I thank you, ICE agents, for taking time away from your own personal life and fighting these idiots of protesters to go keep us safe each and every night and continue doing the good work that you guys are doing. I'm an immigrant. I came here legally. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm proud of it. Let's continue, please.
I'll towns.
Yeah, you mentioned the president having a conversation with Governor Walz. I believe you've been in touch with parts of the administration as well. And now the border czar, Tom Homan's being dispatched here. What does all this mean collectively then?
I hope, and this administration can change course very quickly, but I hope that this leads to a decision that while work will continue to be done on violent offenders and on fraud, that this huge number of ICE agents, some of whom are clearly not trained as our police officers.
There she goes again. ICE agents and Border Patrol agents are not trained. Woman, crying Amy Klobuchar. Crying Amy. That's your nickname. Crying Amy. She's crying about everything. Does not have solutions. She just cries about it. Do you think the government is going to hire people straight from high school? I was 18, July 15th. On the day I turned 18, I shipped to basic training. Within 8 months after basic training, which is 14 weeks, I deployed overseas fighting a war in Iraq. Are you telling me 14 weeks is not enough of training plus few 8 months? How much time is enough to you? Most of the training, this is what I believe, I'm not sure if it's true, okay? Those border patrol agents, they come from the border, southern border. It's secured. They don't need agents on the border anymore. Not as many anyway. They're pulling them out and put them where they're needed, like Minnesota, right? They have tactical experience. What they don't have experience in is dealing with shithead protesters. Stupid protesters. They don't have experience dealing with citizens, U.S. citizens. They've always been dealing with drug cartels, killers, bunch of other illegals trying to cross the border. They have not been trained in dealing with U.S. citizens, especially protesters. So that training most likely have to do with how to deal with U.S. citizens. Additional to the previous trainings they've had. This is just additional training. They have 2, 3, 4, 5 years worth of experience. 8 years, 10 years of experience. The training mainly has to do with riots, how to deal with them, how to de-escalate as much as possible, how to ignore stupid protesters, how to deal with them. That's what the training is all about, I believe. It has nothing to do with, hey, high school kid, you just turned 18, come join ICE. We'll give you all the gear you need and you'll be ready in 4 weeks. No. Most of these ICE agents used to be police officers, or they used to be Border Patrol agents, or Border Patrol agents used to have, I should say, long history of good track record of being Border Patrol agent. This is just additional training. And most of those ICE agents, I bet you, 99% of the time, they have some kind of military experience. Military experience or police experience, law enforcement experience. That's my guess. So additional training is just how to deal with protesters. As simple as that. That's my guess. That's what I would do if I was hiring ICE agents or Border Patrol agents to come and do the streets, is just do additional training to make sure we're all on the same page. Let's continue. This is just making me very furious listening to Crying Amy. Yes, Crying Amy. That's her nickname. Please call her Crying Amy on her X account.
Are in Minnesota, that they simply leave our state.
Do you think that's actually nearing the potential outcome of that?
I hope so.
You don't know.
This is based on my discussions with Republicans yesterday and this morning, and certainly the police chiefs coming out statewide and nationally asking for a change.
Are you talking about the police chief in
they are concerned about the
Minneapolis?
rule of law and following police procedures. That's got to at some level affect the president.
And if Tom Homan, the border czar, is coming here, that signals what?
No, I think the President Trump has a lot of cards in his hand, and Waltz has nothing. He has no hand. It's a bad hand because of certain individuals, which you'll hear more about throughout the week, I'm guessing, with hopefully arrests that's close to him in his administration.
Well, I don't agree with everything he does, but he is the boss of, clearly of the border control involvement in the shooting of Alex Preddy is going to be a major issue going forward. So I hope that he's coming here to de-escalate and to say, we're going to listen to the police chiefs, listen to the business community, listen to elected leaders.
Okay.
And we have said enough is enough.
As a former prosecutor, head of a county attorney, I want to get your take on this. When the head of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension discloses they were denied access to the scene, then got a signed warrant, and were still denied
Yeah, no shit. It's federal.
As a former prosecutor, how does that strike you?
Well, this is unbelievable to me because we have a very professional Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
Just like my last video, what options do they have? The Minnesota state, how else can they can still investigate it? Federal does their investigations, and Minnesota can parallel investigation with them. They don't have to share information. They can still investigate alongside, and then hopefully, when they both finish their both investigations, they come to the same conclusion. That's the goal. Now, if the same conclusion doesn't line up, then they start asking questions, start sharing notes. Why? All right, this, okay. Now they can come to the same conclusion. Just because federal agents do not allow them, and for a good reason, does not mean they cannot investigate. They can parallel investigate and find their own information, find their own evidence, on what happened, how it happened, who was involved. And trust me, there's a lot of information they need to gather. A lot of it, and more to come.
They have investigated heinous murders. They have investigated police-involved shootings before. They have investigated...
Yeah, no shit. Then investigate.
You name it.
Then investigate.
They are very good. And we have always been able to coordinate FBI, Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, local county attorney's office, U.S. attorney, and for them to be denied access is just an unbelievable thing. I hope that will also change. I know that they are undergoing the investigation of this regardless. They want to get everything, not just the videos, and they have to turn those over. And part of this ICE problem of these untrained groups of officers just from others.
Stop it, crying Amy. Stop it. They're not untrained. They're highly professionals. The reason oftentimes deaths happen is because protesters should not have been there in the first place. They should not be impeding in their missions, which is to get the criminals. You do not block them with cars. You're not getting in the way of their mission. Both people will still be alive if they stay 30 feet back, or better yet, stayed at home. I stayed at home. I don't impede. Simple as that.
States that don't know our Minnesota roaming our streets is going to result in some very serious situations if they don't leave soon. It has already resulted in 2 deaths.
As you head back to Washington, another topic is, not supporting funding, continued funding for ICE, which brings concerns of maybe a partial government shutdown. I mean, what's the situation here?
Okay, so the important thing to know is we have had a number of bipartisan bills. So that if we can there's 5 bills, and if we can get these bills done, and which I support outside of ICE, then it would be a focus on ICE. And we've already funded the government through bipartisan bills, so it would not be, depending on how the Republicans want to handle this, some across-the-board shutdown. This discussion of our ability to represent our constituents and say, this has got to change. We want immigration enforcement. We want order at the border. But what we don't want is groups of basically thugs roaming our streets, not following the law, not wearing body cameras, ramming into people's houses without judicial warrants, picking up legal citizens, not getting the proper training. They're down to 47 days of training from 5 months.
Does she know what the training consists of? I don't. Does she? I can assume, I can guess, but I do not know what the training consists of. I do not believe they're hiring high school kids right after high school, doing 47 days of training and then giving them ICE uniforms with guns. I think this is additional training on how to handle civilians, how to handle protesters, mainly. That's it. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure she's wrong. I think ICE agents and Border Patrol agents will love if they can come out and say, this is what our training consists of. These are the type of people we hire only. And I bet you all the hires have many experience in law enforcement, military, and Border Patrol. They have a lot of experience. This is just additional training. Military, we do it all the time. We have additional training constantly as the world changes around us, as new wars appear and disappear. We continuously train to make sure we are able to do our mission successfully wherever that may lead. Whatever situations change, we change too with more training. It's simple as that.
And then just too much money in their budget. They increase their budget. I voted against.
When a new agency appears, when we create a new agency, these guys have been around for a long time, but oftentimes there's almost unlimited budget. When I was in the military and joined a new unit called the Pathfinder, we pretty much had an unlimited budget to build our unit so that way we can successfully do our mission. And after that, then they limit the budget. You know, say, all right, you spent this much, you can't succeed that next year. And if we use less, we have less budget. It's that simple. And the fact is, during the Biden administration, millions of illegals, we didn't know who it was, came across the border. It's going to take a lot more money to get them back out, to get them back home. Because we had open borders. It's a lot cheaper to have an open border than it's to send people back home. The budget's going to be a lot bigger, that's for sure, because it takes a lot more manpower to go find these people. Remember, 75% of the mission, of any mission, is behind scenes that we don't see. It's hundreds of thousands of people doing research, finding where these people are, dealing with the court systems, dealing with legality of it, you know. And 25% is only is the mission. That's it. That's only 25%. So when ICE agents go and pick up the bad criminal, the illegal, that's only 25% of the full entire mission. Most of it happens behind the scenes that you don't see. You know, so we have to be careful. These aren't just people who are inexperienced with 40 plus days of training. Okay? There's a lot more going on to each mission that we as citizens may not be able to see. So respect ICE agents, respect the Border Patrol agents, okay? Your life is not in danger. My life is not in danger. But if you're a criminal, right, if you're illegally, you've done serious, disgusting crimes, we're coming for you. That, I promise you, we're coming for you.
by 3 times. They are now bigger than the FBI. They have $75 billion, and you can see the results of it with this surge. I would rather use that money for local law enforcement.
Local law enforcement? What are you talking about? Defund police, defund police, defund police. That is all I heard for the past, 4, 5, 6 years. It's all I've been hearing. Defund the police. Now you want to take that money to fund local police? Crying Amy, you can't seem to make up your mind. Things are going not the way I want them. Let's put money back into police. Seriously, make up your minds. What do you want? Do you want police officers or do you not want police officers? What is it that you want? And she's running for governor. If I don't make it to the preliminaries, please do not vote for crying Amy, because she will be crying before and after, in the mornings and nights, because she does not know what she's talking about or what she's doing.
This to the police officers in our state and help our state another way with healthcare and the like. We're always going to have immigration enforcement. We should. But
healthcare? With all the fraud that's been going on? We can't even fund healthcare at the moment in Minnesota, is my understanding.
It's being run now is just wrong.
So is that potential budget, funding, could that lead to a dispute that might lead to?
So it could lead to a partial shutdown. It could lead to some agreement to make.
Honestly, whether it's a shutdown or not, ICE agents are still, Border Patrol agents are still can be out there hitting the streets. They got the funds already. They're good to go. They're going to keep going. The government could be shut down for a month, 2, whatever. ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, they're going to continue doing their jobs nonstop throughout the whole shutdown.
Forms. There's all kinds of outcomes here. But for us to just say, we're going to keep funding ICE at its current levels and let them keep doing this in the cities of America, even if they pull out of Minnesota, that's not good.
And lastly, I know you filed papers to potentially run for governor.
Don't, Amy. Don't crying, Amy.
Your mindset there, because you'll make an announcement when you decide to make an announcement. But how has the events of recent days impacted that decision?
She looks like she's crying. She looks like she's crying.
Some of the questions and things you have to consider.
Well, clearly, for me, I like my job now, but I love my state more. And so that's going into the timing of this. I clearly, right now, when we're dealing with this crisis in our state, you've got to put politics aside. But I am clearly, I filed papers. I
hope you run, crying Amy. I hope you run.
And so stay tuned.
Please run, crying Amy.
Amy Klobuchar, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
I really, really hope you're crying right now. It'll be funny. But no, I hope you're running. It'll be fun. We got to have fun, right? We got to have fun. And I look forward to my nickname. I got some few nicknames that was used in the military, but I'm not going to tell you. Well, like I said, I hope people are out there safe when they're protesting, which at this point, you've done enough, I think. I think you all guys should just go home, and let the government deal with this, because there's a lot of things that's happening behind the scenes that you or I may not see. Let's just, step back, take a deep breath, go out in the country, drive, right? And just relax. Spend some time with your family, with your loved ones, knowing that there is people out there that are getting the monsters off the streets, the illegals, the criminals. Ross Nova shooting forward, Ryder, bolder for a better tomorrow. Have a good night. Thank you.